Hello, Dread Mechanic here. I thought I'd start the stream on the menu screen today, because of the new update and because of some of the new features. So, hello, how is everybody? If the background music is too loud, let me know. I'm trying out having background music now, because sitting in silence is boring, and a couple of the games I've been playing recently have given me copyright strikes for background music. So, I'm trying out some copyright-free stuff to keep the, well, just to get some music in the background, really. Anyway, right, so, new Fieldwork update. Keen were nice enough to give me a little advanced preview of it about a week ago, but I have not had the time in my personal life to do any of the fancy videos that some of the other guys have done, so I've only had a chance to have a little look at it, some of the new features. First one I want to mention before we do anything, this is very important for the mech builders and the subgrid enthusiast like myself. World settings, right down at the bottom, we now have these three new features. This one here, unsafe piston impulses and unsafe torques, are absolutely fantastic. These two basically do what my small grid rotor mod does, and they basically push the limit up to 1 billion Newton meters. So there's basically no need for my rotor mod anymore. This one by itself completely sorts out that issue. So we now have the option to push rotors and hinges and pistons to ridiculous extremes. And that is possibly my favourite feature of this new update. The one I'm not particularly happy about is this one. Share inertia tensor is now a world setting all by itself. And unfortunately, it is toggled off by default. So if you are a mech builder, or if you are a subgrid user, and you have share inertia tensor activated on any of your builds, please, for the love of Clang, go and check your world settings first. I did not do this, and nearly broke a save game. I loaded a game up with a load of mechs, and they all fell over and started doing weird stuff, and all the legs started flapping about. And then I quit out the game auto-saved, I came back here, I found this setting, I reloaded the game, and all this share inertia tensor was broken. Because I'd essentially turned it off, saved the game, reloaded it, reactivated it. So please, if you are loading up an old save, check this box first. There is no harm in having it active in a game. There is lots of harm in having it deactivated in a game if you've already been using it. I have raised a support ticket with Keen about this. I really want them to make it on by default, because otherwise it's going to break a lot of people's builds without them knowing what's going on. Other than that, that is the world setting stuff. So basically, forever, I will always be having these three things activated in all of my games. So, with that in mind, we can now go and have a look at some of the new features, because I did get to have a little play around with some stuff. Again, didn't have the time to do any fancy videos, but I have had a little go of some of the things that are available with the new update, like the colour changing lights, and some of the new set overrides for thrusters and for suspensions. And there are some really cool things you can do with that now, and there's some really easy ways of doing subgrid thrusters and subgrid wheel control now, which I will show you as soon as this game loads. And I believe the DLC is now available on Steam, hopefully. I'm having a bit of an issue with that. Yeah, again, anyone watching, if the background music's too loud or anything like that, let us know. If it's too quiet, let us know. Right, here we go. Sooner or later. Go on, game. There we go. Right, so we've got new toys to play with. Oh, did I forget to load my faction mod into here? Oh well, smag it. So, yeah, we've got new features. We've got loads of new features actually, and I've added them to this orbital station I've been playing with. So, one of the new things we've got is these decorative pipe blocks. Now, did I forget to set up a toolbar with the new toys? I did. Where is Fieldwork? There we go. So we've now got all of these pipework pieces. Sound as good as it, Arkaville? Cool, thank you very much. So yeah, we've now got a whole bunch of these decorative pipe blocks. Unfortunately, they're only decorative. I wish they were conveyors, but I believe someone's already working on a mod for that. But yeah, they're pretty cool. You can do all sorts of stuff with them. Oop, that was the wrong button, and that's the wrong button as well. Pause the game. Yeah, so you've got all of those. They're nice decorative pieces. You do all sorts of strange combinations with them, because they have this centre block piece that's like a junction for them all. That's one of the new toys we've got. What else have we got with Fieldwork? Some of the other things we've got these new lab pieces that look really awesome. And I've stuck a bunch of them on the outside of this ship. So we've got these big chunky things here at the moment. There we go. And they look pretty sweet. They're purely decorative at the minute, but they have a very nice visual effect that leaves a pretty cool trail when it's in motion. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to put into this save file. I might have to just jump into that other game later on. But yeah, we've got plenty of other decorative blocks knocking around in here as well, and if I go into this airlock I've been building and playing with, we can see some of the new colour change features in action. So now I've got these two lights in this airlock, and with the button press we can tie colour changes into all the actions. And when that decides to ventilate, there we go, it can turn green. So let's bring up a light, let's bring up a menu. In fact, actually, we'll go back to control seats first. Do the light stuff in a minute. And we've also got these new refill stations, which are pretty cool. So you can get power and you can get H2 and oxygen and things like that from them. They're kind of like a survival kit without the respawn pod functionality. As far as I know, they are just for refueling on basic essentials. And I believe there is a few variants of those. We've got the cargo one. Where is it on this list of bits? Let's type in refill station. There we go, that's the one. So we've got this nifty little cap version for just popping over a conveyor port, which is quite cool. Literally just fits like that, and you can just slap it on somewhere. And then we've got the big chunky full block version that also has all the conveyor junctions on it, so you've got plenty of ways to pipe it in, which is quite nice. And there's also a small grid version of the big cap version. Yeah, we've only got a cap version in small grid at the moment, but you can slap that onto a 3x3 connector on your small grid build, which is quite nice. Hello, service robot. How are you doing? So yeah, we've got those colour changing bits. We'll play around with that a bit more in a minute. Oh, I forgot to put the cafe music in here. And yeah, we've also got these floor blocks, which are quite nice. They're pretty sweet to play with. So we've got these. Let's grab a better colour off there. So that's the floor centerpiece. It's just got some decals and a few textures in a few places. Then we've got the decal piece, which has got all of these sides to it. So you can do a couple of different things. I abandoned this station, sort of, in a different continuity. Yeah, so we've got these nice little floor blocks. Oh, hello Marcus, by the way. How you doing, man? Where else should I go next? I will go to... I'll head this way. So yeah, there are more floor blocks in here. They've all got some interesting sides to them. Was there anything else in here? Ah yeah, so this is one of the refill station caps in action. And it fits nice and snugly onto the cargo containers. And did I put anything else in here other than that Prototech stuff? And that's from the last one, so that's fine. Medical bay. We'll head there instead. The medical bay. Dreadception. Indeed, Marcus. There are multiple continuities, multiple dreads. We'll go to this one. We have got lots of these new desk lab pieces in here. We've got all sorts of stuff. So we've got a... Nope. Something just went wrong with my game. Are you crashing, game? What are you doing? Oh dear, my game has crashed. Oh dear, my game has crashed quite fatally. That's a good start. Oh well, we'll try that again. I don't know quite what happened there. Looks like they might need a hotfix for the new update. Oh dear. Oh well, it's all loading up again now, so we'll see what happened there. Yeah, that's the second crash I've had since this update went live. I think there's definitely going to need to be a hotfix for something. Or perhaps it's the fact that I've got 51 people watching this stream and my computer's freaking out a little bit. I've never had that many people watching a stream before, so thank you all very much, everybody. No, Marcus, it wasn't an OBS issue. It was a Space Engineers issue. Space Engineers crashed. OBS is fine. Yep, OBS is fine. All the lights are blinking. Everything is green. It was Space Engineers that had the issue. Hopefully, it'll load without any issues. Does seem to be getting to 100% and hanging a little bit. Are we good? Are we good? Okay, we'll try that again. We'll pretend that that didn't just crash phenomenally. Oh, thank you very much, Marcus. Thank you very much. Right. We shall try that again, without the game crashing, hopefully. Right, we'll go back to the medical bay. In fact, we'll go this way. We'll go through the crew cabin, because that's got a few bits in it, I think. Because I was just about to show off all of the new decorative desks and furniture and stuff, and that stuff's really nice and really detailed. Oh, you know what? I might have to turn off that media player. Because I forgot I left you running, didn't I? Right, there we go. Did I put anything new in here? Other than refill stations? I don't think I did I? No, it's all bunk beds and pre-existing stuff in here, so yeah, we will head on to the medical bay. There it is. Hopefully it won't crash again. If it does crash again... oh, hey Spaghetti Engineer, how are you doing, man? If it does crash again, I'm going to suspect there's an issue with some of the decorative blocks. But... it's not falling, is it? It did make a weird sound before. Like it crash landed, but we're miles up. Okay. Behave yourself. Right. Let's try not to crash this time. So, in here, we have got lots of things. We've got a captain's desk, but I think that was from the last DLC. We've got this lovely new lab freezer type thing that's got a bit of storage going on. And some doors that open, but they don't really lead to much right now. I really think they should make some of these shelves interactive, so that you can do that kind of thing. Maybe stick a little yellow tag on there, Keen, and make these boxes interactive would be cool. We've also got a variety of desk pieces, so we've got this nice corner one that's got... maybe I am falling, I'm not sure. We've got this nice corner piece that's got a few bits and pieces, got some storage on it, got a little microscope. We've got a desk with a computer and another screen and a few other bits, and that's also got a little bit of storage on it too. A bunch of things we can interact with. What else have we got? Over here we've got another kind of table that has some big electron microscope type device. And a monitor to interact with. And then we've got one of the new lab experiment pieces. Again, these are purely decorative, but they look quite cool. And we've also got these new super skinny doors. They're about as thick as an armor panel, which are quite nice. They're also about the same width as the window pieces that we've already had for a while. And we've got more of the new floor blocks in here. Yeah, but they're quite nice. And I believe they're airtight as well around the side, so you can use them for external doorways if you like. So that's all the main pods, isn't it? Right, let's go to the bridge section. There's more bits in there. Right, so we've got more of these floor pieces with this lovely decal that I think was on display during the release stream. I quite like it, it's very nice. And these blocks are colourable with the variety of skins and stuff that we have. Think. Yeah, they can be painted gold, they can be painted disco colours. Yeah. Yeah, so they work with all of the pre-existing skins and things. Right, let's go. Let's go down here. Did I stick anything down here? I can't remember what I put where. Oh yeah, I slapped some more lab experiments up there. And we do also have these new exhaust caps. They basically work the exact same way as the exhaust pipes. They are just a flat piece instead. So let's have a look at exhaust. There we go, we've got loads of them knocking around in various places. Where is the jump drive ones? There we go. Turn those on. Have I got too much stuff going on, or are they a little bit buggy at the minute? Jump exhaust. Oh, it's because I've got the... Oh yeah, that's why, because I've got the settings set really, really, really high. That's why. Because I had them tied into my... Oh yeah, had them tied into the jump drive. That's why the power dependency is insane. So yeah, these things work just like the exhaust pipes. They do all the same things. Fire, electric, reactor smoke, all that kind of jazz. But they are considerably smaller, and we do have small and large grid versions of them, which is pretty sweet. The more details and more decorative things I can get, the happier I am. And that is it for new bits down here. The rest of the new stuff is on the bridge, I think. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff on the planet to show off. So yeah, there we go. Right, we have got all sorts of new stuff in here. We've got these new lab experiment pieces. They've got all sorts of cool moving parts and particle effects on them. We've got another one of them here. Or, oh no, that is the back of the new Lab O2H2 generators, which I should have. There we go. That's one of them. So we now have these new O2H2 gens that are about the same size as the industrial refineries. Industrial assemblers, rather. And they're pretty sweet. They've got this lovely bubble effect on them. And lots of lovely detail and terminal access. And then they've got conveyor access on both sides here and at the bottom on this side, I think, as well. And then we've got another one of these lab experiment pieces that's that way round, but I stuck on its side because it was a nice way to squeeze it in. And that's just a 2x2 block, I think, with a load of bubbly stuff. It's pretty cool. We've also now got an assortment of these round corridor pieces. So we've got the usual assortment. Is it? There we go. So yeah, we've got all these round corridor pieces now. We've got a light one, corner one, T1, crossroad, and there's a transition one as well, which I quite like, which is quite cool. Just look around again. That's the one. Yeah, where is it? The transition piece. That one's pretty cool. Let me turn that off so we can actually see. Yeah, but this one is designed for turning, transitioning between your corridors and your regular rooms. As you can see there, it joins onto the round design on that side, and then just opens up into a square shape that side. So you can either have that as the entrance to a room, or connect it onto the square corridors, stick a door on the end, all that kind of stuff. Anything else new in here before we head down the planet? Oh yeah, these cool little things. New O2 tanks. It's quite nice. They're like little miniature versions of the industrial hydrogen tank that we've got. That's the wrong thing. Tank. There we go. Small lab tank. So yeah, we got these. They've got 2 connection points on the bottom, and they've got 2 little tanks on the top, although it's essentially just one big tank, but it's designed to look like 2 little ones. It's quite cool. And they're quite good for just slapping on things on the outside. I think they look pretty nifty. Right, anything else in here? I think that is the lot for that stuff. So, let's have a look at a few of the controls that we have. Airlock. So, you saw all those airlocks that we were walking through before. Where's the docking one? Docking air vents. Is that the one? It's not that one. It is that one, I think. Top, that's the one. So, we now have, when I find it, we now have these set colour functions and set blink interval and a whole bunch of other stuff. We've got all sorts of cool new features now. So, we can now set colours on lights, and we can set an RGB value from here. And if you press Control and click on it, you also have the option to manually type in whatever value you like and click Confirm. And they've even gone as far as to add in a whole bunch of colour tags. So when you pick a colour, it will essentially equate it to the nearest one on the spectrum that they've chosen. So that one was Orchid. And we could go back, and if we just straight up take all the red out, it'll come up with Aqua. And if we take all of the yellow and the green out, blue and the green out, it'll say it's red. So that's a nice little feature we've got. Did think it was going to have a label down there, but that might be a bug. I'm sure it did have labels before. But yeah, that's a new feature that we can do with the lights, which is absolutely awesome. Because it means now, instead of having 20,000 lights to indicate all kinds of different stuff, you can just have the one and pick yourself a variety of colours. And then just assign those colours to different block actions. So, like you can see with these air vents, I've got them set up so that when the air vent depressurizes, it will change the colours to to red. I think I've got that set up as. I did think there was colour labels last time I played with this. Something might have gone a bit buggy. But yeah, when it's pressurised, it turns green. When it's depressurised, it turns red. And we also have the option to set things like blink interval as well. So you can set how things like how long it's going to blink. We can also set the radius for the lights as well. So we can have it the default, which is like 3.6 meters, or we can set it to 1 meter, or we can set it to the maximum radius that that light will allow. Again, with single actions. So I think that's pretty good. Pretty damn sweet. Right, that's it for station stuff for now, really. Oh, actually, you know what? While we are here, we can also quickly show off some of the new thruster settings. If I can press the right bloody button, but I can't see past my microphone half the time. Bum ba bum ba bum. Where is it? So, yeah, we now have the option to set a thruster's override value. We've still got the old decrease and increase in intervals of, I think it's 10%. But we also now have the option to set exactly what value we like. So with a single action, we can go from 0 to 100% thrust straight off. I've already got that there, so it's not going to make a difference. Which makes it a heck of a lot easier doing subgrid thruster controls and things like that now. You don't need to try and tie a bunch of timers together and do mad stuff. So now, for this ship, I've got some controls that set the vertical thrusters to 0 override, and maximum override, so I can just turn that on and off with a single action. And means you can do the same thing with a bunch of other stuff too. So if I kick orbital mode on this station into gear, you can see those thrusters at the bottom of my screen have gone straight up to 100% thrust in a single action. Didn't have to do anything daft. And I've got some event controllers on this station set up so that when it reaches the speed limit I've assigned to it, it will roll that override back to something more reasonable. However, I'm not sure... Oh, let's bring that speed limit down a little bit. 70 meters a second is going to get quick very quickly. Let's make it 30. There we go, because I went past what the speed limit was already. It's now dropped that down to 34%. It is 35, but for some reason the toolbar reads it's 34%, but yeah, we can now do that. And if I increase that speed a bit, when it gets back to 30, it should roll that right back again to 35. There we go. There we go. That station will now just manage its own speed and do its own thing. There we go. Off it goes. Orbiting the planet. Me falling. That's not the ship suddenly flying into the air. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that orbiting for now. There is some stuff down on the planet that I want to have a look at. So we'll take the quick route. Hopefully it won't crash the game. Right. Cool. So, like I was saying before, we've now got the ability to set thrust overrides and directly set a value, and we also have the same thing for suspension blocks as well now. So if I go into my drive controls, I have got a couple of event controllers that are looking at the thrusters that are tucked away on the back of my ship just here. And they now have the same control setups. So, with the suspensions, we have this lovely... Oh, not steer override, although that is a cool one. Set propulsion override. We also have set steer override, so you can set a particular amount of override for that as well. But yeah, we have set propulsion on the wheels. Again, we can set that to 100, anywhere between 0 and 100, whatever value we like. And we, again, don't have to try and tie a whole bunch of timers together to get from 0 to 100 in multiple steps. So now, this little mech I've been working on has some real easy, real simple subgrid wheel controls. It literally has an event controller tied to a thruster that sets the propulsion override. So now I can drive forwards. And I can drive backwards. And if you look at the little lights on the side, I have also tied in light changes into the directions. So when I hit the forward controller, that event controller can turn that light green, and when I release it, it can turn it back to cyan or aqua, and it can turn it orange when I hit reverse. And I've also got a handbrake control, and that turns all the lights red too. And really nifty. I'm really happy with this new light control thing. And again, I can do the same thing for the warp controls on this thing. I can tie colour changes on those lights into the event controllers that control the legs. So I can have forwards and backwards colours. And all that kind of stuff. And I think with this version, did I set up the weapons to do the same thing? Yes, we did. So we can now have colour changes on weapons and all sorts. So I can have those turn cyan when I turn them on, and if I set it to target friendlies, I've got the, there we go, I've got the setup action feature on the turret controllers to change the lights from red to cyan when they lock onto a target. So we can do all kinds of mad colour changing stuff with these lights now. So that's just one of the things we can do. And again, when I turn them off, set everything back to orange. Turn it on, makes it cyan. Aim at target, makes it red. Turn it off, it all goes back to orange. So that's some of the things we can do with that. Let's have a look at the Jigabachi we're talking. Upgrading. So, I've taken one of my old Jigabachi designs. If you're a fan of Ghost in the Shell, you might recognise it. And we can do a similar thing to the wheels on that spider mech that I was just playing with. So here, I've got another bunch of controllers for up, down, forwards and backwards. And they are triggered by the thrusters on the main grid. And they are set to trigger the thrusters on the wings over here. So now they can set them from 100 to 0 in a single on and off kind of action. And again, rather than having to rely on millions and millions and millions of timers to tie things together, we can just have a single event controller performing a single action. So there we go, that's the thrusters on the back of my ship fire. It can very easily trigger the ones on the wings. We can do it with the vertical thrusters. We can do it with the reverse thrusters. Yeah. Lots of cool features. And I think I did the same thing with the weapons that I did on there. Yeah. We're gonna have colour changing lights when we've locked onto a target. It's quite nifty in my opinion. Yeah, damage is turned off for a reason. Yeah, cool. And I finally get a chance. Oop, that's the wrong button. That's alright, that's turned off when I'm at that altitude. There we go. I finally, I'm gonna get rid of all those signals, get to show off the Metal Gear Ray that I've been working on for a little bit. And I've spent a lot of time screwing around with his head to make it work properly. And also, I had to do some weird stuff with his tail to make him balance properly. He's a really weird shape. And a really awkward shape. And I've still not got around to doing much of the interior cockpit yet, but again, we've got all sorts of colour changing controls now. So I've set him up that when I turn left and right, those lights turn yellow, so I can tell which way I'm turning. And I've got green for forwards. And which light is on tells me what foot is on the floor, or what leg is moving forwards rather. Then we've got orange for backwards. And And if I go to, there it is, head controls, we've got all sorts of cool colour changing lights inside his head. So I have set up, let's get a bit of distance from Rex. Rex and Zeke don't have any of the new DLC features at the moment. I just want to have them in the background for a little bit more stuff to play with. So yeah. I've got him set up now that when he targets an enemy, the lights in his head turn red, and the lights on the flaps on the side are tied into the charge rate. Ooh. The charge rate of the railgun in the center. So when that railgun drops below 100% charge, it turns all the lights onto red and it makes them flap real quick. And then when it has recharged, turns them all back to cyan and slows the blink delay, that's the word I was looking for, turns the blink delay back down. So again, there we go, turn around, it starts flashing red and flashing quickly, and when it finishes recharging, changes colour and slows back down again. Oh, he's keen. There you go. And there we go. That turns off, and that all goes back to normal. Yeah, so that's more or less most of my favourite features of this new DLC and update in action. So now that we're back down on the planet, we can have a better look at some of these new blocks, because there are many and they are quite cool. So we've got pipes, let's stick the floor block on there as well. Oh yes, and we've also got a new hydrogen tank as well. Stick that down there. I think a few more of these need to have the little group setups. Where are you? Oh yes, they've also, I believe, separated a few more things out a little bit. Where are the corridors? There we go. So yeah, the corridors are now separated from the passages. They are two separate things now. I'm not sure if that's completely new with this one or the last one. I always lose track, but we now have a whole bunch of new corridors to play with. What else did we have? Fieldwork. What else we got? Oh yeah, we've got all those labs. Have they got their own little group out here somewhere? Not showing up in there. Oh yes, they've been added to the lab equipment group. That's where we'll find them now. Let's throw the tanks in, because all the new ones are hiding in with the tanks. O2H2 generator is now a little group, because we now have the variant one, which is quite cool. Let's change colour to something a little bit less obscene on the eyes. So yeah, we've got all of these floor blocks, which are pretty sweet. So we've got this edge one that's got all of these patterns on it. We've got the decal one that has lots of hazard stripes and a variety of different kinds of lines. We have the center one that's got one dark side to it, and then all the others, I think, are whatever colour you've chosen. And they've got a variety of textures, which is quite cool. We've got the passage one. Or did I show that one off already? We've got the edge. Yeah, we showed off the edge. And we've got the passage for doing floors to your corridors, which are quite cool. That's got a straight section, corner section, whatever that is. Cross section, an end, a T, a few other bits. And then we've also got this huge bloody slab, which is quite cool. And it's all interior plate, steel plate, and construction components. So it's got a clean side, and then it's got one that matches up with the edge blocks, from the look of it. There we go. Slap a couple of them down. Have a little nosy at some of the blocks. So, yeah, put a bunch of them on the floor. There we go. Cool, right. So, what have we got? In fact, actually, let's make this a little bit bigger so we got more room to play with. Cool. Right, so these new pipe blocks, like these, they're very, very nice. They're very interesting. They add some nice new bits of decor. We've got a corner piece, we've got like a horizontal corner piece, we've got a vertical corner piece, we've got a little end cap or pipe down, as it's called, and we've got this junction piece. And then we've got those two straight blocks that I dropped down there already. So they're quite cool. You can combine them in a variety of different ways. Do all sorts with them. Quite nice. What else have we got then? We have got... Here we go. So we've got these small O2 lab tanks. Or lab small O2 tanks. Tuck in quite nicely into various places. I think they're a little less for internal designs and more for having on display, because obviously the shape they are in no way airtight on all sides. But they have got those two side-by-side conveyors, which will probably come in handy to someone. Hey Nerio, how are you doing, man? How are you doing? Hope everyone's having fun getting to grips with the new DLC. It's got some cool new features to it. Ah, there we go. New Lab O2 gen. So it has got 4 conveyor ports. It's got 3 this end, 1 that end, none on the top or bottom. Slap that on there. Oh yeah, we could probably do with a battery on this grid, so we're actually getting some power to some stuff. There we go. Back. We'll build a couple more. Yes, there you go. Now it's got some power to it. Got some bubbles going in it. If we chuck a bit of ice, I've gone too far. Let's throw a load of ice in there. And let's slap one of those new tanks on there. Is there any other real visual indication that you're active? Don't seem to have any colour changing lights like the other ones do. Am I missing something because it's the middle of the day? Any difference in the dark? No, it doesn't seem to have any sort of visual indicator like the other ones with the light on it. What if I turn it off? Has that got... It seems to have any visual indication whether it's on, off, or functioning. I reckon it could probably do with some light somewhere to tell you what it's doing. Would be nice. Oh well, we'll put the sun back on. Anyway, short of the missing indicator light, I really like these things. They look really cool. Especially like this bit. This bit looks awesome. I'm a sucker for any kind of nifty details with a sci-fi theme to it. What else have we got? Those are the old corridors. Show us the round ones. There we are. Right, so we got all these round pieces. Let's start off with that transition piece. So there we go, we can have that, and then that connects up really nicely with the pre-existing corridor pieces. Then we've got regular one. We've got one with a light in it. And we've got a corner piece. And we've got a T-piece. And we've got a cross piece. And then we've got another transition piece as well. These are quite nice. Quite like the round vibe to them. It's a little bit more compact than some of the others, and it's got a bit of a vibe of the industrial passages with all these bits of pipework and detail in them. I think I'm probably going to be using these quite regularly as my new go-to corridor. I really like the shape of them. Right, and then possibly one of my favourites of the new decorative blocks is these lab experiment pieces. So we've got that one, we have got that one, and we've got this one. This one's my favourite. I really like this one. I feel like this one's missing something, and it probably should have something in the middle, because that doesn't seem to be an access port. It seems to be purely decorative. I think there should be something in there, like an engineer or a sabroid or something. Something floating in it, like a scientific specimen or something. But I'm sure someone is bound to come up with a mod for that in the near future. And then we've got this one here, that's just like 4 little decorative tubes with some fans inside. Yeah, this one feels like it's missing some moving detail. Because that one's got little fans at the bottom, and this one's got its lovely particle effect, and these moving parts. I feel like this middle one's missing something. Or maybe I'm missing something. Am I missing something? No, that is quite clearly the bottom of it, and that is quite clearly the top of it. Nope. Nope, nothing's interacting with that. Okay. What else did we get in Fieldwork? We have got... oh yeah, we've got the new H2 tanks. Oh yeah, I've already put tanks on there. There we go, we've got these new badges. They've got a conveyor on one end and a conveyor on one of its sides. So let's plug that in to there, why don't we? There we go, we can watch that filling up. Again, these have got a nice little control pad there. I wish that was actually a real emergency stop. Like it was actual on-off button, that would be cool. Yeah, that's pretty much the same either side. Fills up nicely. What is it? Yeah, map stored, 1 million. It's like the other one. Same as the other, isn't it? Yeah, 1 million litres. Yeah, so it's pretty much exactly the same as the one we've already got. So that's it for the new tanks. What else do we have? Oh yeah, lab cabinet. We've got a few other bits, haven't we? Let's bring up the desks. Are they tucked away in there now? I think they are tucked away in there now. And I think we've got new bits in there as well. So that's the locker, that's the old locker, that's the old locker, that's the bookshelf we had for a while. Here we go. More new bits. So lab cabinet and lab freezer, and the rest of it's already been there a while. So, this one, I haven't actually had a look at this one yet. I didn't even realise this was a thing. I thought we only had the new lab freezer, so this is a surprise to me. We've got some storage there. We've got a control panel there. We've got another place to interact there. Yeah, that's quite cool actually. Didn't realise that was a thing. And then we've got this lab freezer that we were having a look before on my station, which no, that's out of range now. God knows where that is. Probably crashed somewhere. Yeah, that's got a bit of access there. I still really think that if we're going to go to the effort of having these doors open and closed, there should be storage access inside. Really think there should be storage access here somewhere, because I'm clicking manically and nothing is happening, and then the actual storage access is here. Would have made more sense to have it in the cabinet, I feel, but fair enough. Again, I'm sure someone will either mod that or people will make enough noise that the devs might change it for us. Right, what else have we got in here to play with? We've got these exhaust caps. Oh yes, also, while we're at it, the lab tank has a small grid variant, which looks really cool. I really like that. That will sit nicely in some of my small grid builds. I mean, that one's cool. And it's good for a lot of stuff, but the detailing on that is just so much nicer. And they're still exactly the same. They've got the exact same ports in the same place. You can see it literally doesn't even flinch between the models. Oh, that one does though. That one changes orientation. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And then we've got the one I've been waiting for ages. The teeny weeny tiny oxygen tank. This is going to make a big difference, I think, to a lot of people's fighter designs. Because we now don't have to have this great, big, lumbering, awkward thing shoved into your fighter or something, wherever you can get it. You've now got these teeny weeny little things. What are they? What do they do? 52 litres. Isn't much, but if you're out about in a fighter and it's not a long-range ship, it shouldn't be an issue really. Because I can tell you now, I've never needed 400 litres of oxygen in any of the fighters I've ever built. These are good for making small, like big, small grid ships, but these ones are going to be very good for making little fighters. And these are what I've been waiting for to finally start making proper space-orientated mechs, like Gundams and things like that. Because if you're going to have a space-based mech, you need to have an oxygen supply. And these things are just so awkward to squeeze into any kind of build. Like if I wanted an oxygen tank on one of these guys, for example, I mean, that's a big chunky thing to try and squeeze into a small gap somewhere in a compact build. It would just never, ever happen. But with that, I can squeeze that in like a dozen different places. There's all kinds of space knocking around in here to squeeze in as many of these as I could possibly want. And there'd still be room to convey them in as well. Whereas that thing, that ain't going nowhere in here realistically. I'd have to really redesign some stuff to get something like that in there. So, those small grid tanks, I am super happy about them. I can't wait to start trying to integrate them into some designs. In fact, to be honest, I can just start designing things from scratch now. Right. So, let's have a look at some other bits. What's that? That's been an hour, right? I don't know how long I intend to really do this stream for, because I just want to have a look at the new bits. What else have we got to look at? Cargo terminals. Let's check. Where are they hiding? Are they hiding in with survival kits and stuff these days? Nope, they're not hiding there. Oh, they have their own little group that doesn't show up in the Fieldwork tab. Fair enough. So there we go, we can have that. There's the front of it. There we go. Have that connected onto there. And then we can get our fuel back from that. Which is quite cool. And then it's got an LCD that we can chuck images on, chuck the apps or scripts or whatever onto them, which is good. In fact, stick on energy, there we go. So that's pretty good. What else have we got? We've got that. So we've got the cap version of it. Pretty much seems to just be this section here, just nicely cut out and made into a little single piece. That works exactly the same way. And again, we should have a small grid version of that. There we go. So, yeah, small grid version. We've only got a 3x3 version of it, but it's not too bad. And what else do we have? So that was the refill stations. Oh yeah, it was the cargo access terminal I was looking for. Where is that hiding? What section have you put that in? Has it got its own thing? Ah, it's in with the storage containers. There we go. There we go. Cargo terminals. So we've got full block and a half block version. So one you can have inset into a wall or something like that, and then the other one you can have sticking out of a wall. And yeah, they're basically like a cargo container, but it's only got one point of access, and it doesn't just look like a big lump of a box like that one. Because, to be honest, this design's a little bit outdated, really. It's good, but... and it does store more. It's got... oh no, I am wrong. It has exactly... yeah, the new access terminal is basically just a reskin, so it'll store the same amount of stuff from the look of it. 46,000 litres. 46,000 litres, yeah. Okay. I stand corrected. It is basically a new container, which is quite nice. So that means we've also got a half size. Yeah, because that's on 22. Cool, so we've got a bit more variety in storage options as well now. Where was... that was in there, isn't it? And that's disappointing. We don't have a small grid variant. Well, that's a missed opportunity, isn't it? Yeah, that's a bummer. I was hoping we'd have a small grid version of that. Small grid always seems to get neglected. Oh well. Cool. Right, so that's those bits. What else have we got to have a nosy at? Oh yeah, we've got all these new desks, haven't we? I'll stick them on the toolbar somewhere. Yes, I did. There we go. So, old desks, chairless desks, corner desks, lab desks. Here we go. So we've got that one. We have a chairless variant. Ooh, we've got a lab sink. That's quite nifty. We've got a microscope desk. And we've got a chairless lab desk corner inverted. And then the captain's chair. Was that from an older DLC? DLC was that from? Is that new? Oh, Contact. Yeah, that's old. Older. Yeah, so those are the new decorative desk blocks that we've got with this update. Some of them have got, like was shown off before, a little bit of storage. Sink doesn't seem to do much, seems to be purely decorative. Meh. Ah, that has a little terminal access. That's nice, and then it's got a screen there to play with. And then this one's got some storage. Oh. Yep. There seems to be something going screwy with that microscope desk, as my game has just crashed again going near the microscope desk. Right. There's a bug report going on after this. Give me a second, I will load the game up once again. That's twice it's crashed. And that's twice it was when I was near that smegging microscope. So, okay. Beware the microscope desk for now, lads. It seems to be a tad buggy. Right. Let's see what happens. I'll reload that. And if it's still in the game, I'll walk over to it again and see if the game crashes again. Because I actually want to put in a bug report about that. That shouldn't be happening. So that'll be 3 times that Space Engineer has crashed on me since this update. Definitely needs a hotfix of some description. Come on. Come on. Right, I walked over to this thing, and then it was like there was something in my way, and then the game crashed. Yep, 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 yep. There it goes. Yeah. Beware the inverted corner desk, guys. It is breaking my game and making it crash to desktop. So yeah, there'll be a bug report going on that later. Okay, stay away from the corner lab piece. Try that again then, shall we? You bet it's build info. Ooh. Okay. I will try that. Yeah, I'll let the game load up again. And I will take build info off, and I'll see if that's still an issue. Because I have that desk piece on my station, and I upgraded the station last week when Keen gave me some sneaky access to the DLC, and it wasn't doing it then. And I had build info running then, and it also wasn't doing it then. So I'm wondering if something has happened between then and now that might be causing that. But, right. You were having a fit when I went near you, so let's back out of there. And let's take build info off and see if that makes a difference. Mods. I don't have any conflicting mods on, do I? Let's take that out just to be safe. Let's get rid of build info and build vision just to be safe. Get rid of both of them. Get rid of that colour replacer because I don't need it. Also don't need that. Also don't need that. That I need for some of the builds that I've got. Oh, actually, shit, I do need that. Thruster one. I need that one because that's on my Gigabachi. Right. With product build info and no crash on your side, Nereo. Clearly some bug with the hitbox. Did it crash for you, Nereo? No crash. Oh, no crash on your side. Yeah, because I didn't highlight anything. I literally just walked over to it, and it freaked out for me. And it did that on my station before. So we'll try this again. We'll load that back up one more time. We will casually stroll over to that corner piece and see if the game crashes for a 5th time. And if it does, I don't know what I'm going to do, but other than just putting a bug report on it. But we'll see what happens in a second. Right, we're back in the game. It still doesn't like me walking anywhere near it, and it's crashed once again. Yeah. I'm gonna say it's that block. I think that block is the issue. Could be the control option in build info if you have one active. Marcus, I've not even got it active. All I did then was press the W key to walk forwards towards it, and it freaked out and crashed. And it's done it 3 times in a row. So I don't think, and I've also just removed build info and build vision. So I'm not sure. It might be. If anything, it's probably going to be something to do with the hitbox of that particular block reacting with the player in some weird way. I really don't know enough about the programming side of things to make any kind of judgment on that. All I know so far is going near it makes my game crash. No, it doesn't. It doesn't like me anywhere near it, so I'm going to delete it. Hopefully. And hopefully it won't be an issue. Yeah. Range. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere near it, Marcus. I'm deleting the bloody thing, and I'm gonna have to delete it off my station until I get it fixed, because it's just gonna make my station crack every time I go near anything. Right, you. Go away. Now standing on this bit of floor is fine. Yeah, I'm convinced it's that block. Anyway, we'll ignore that one for now. Oh, what else have we got then? We have got... Oh yeah! Oh yeah. I don't know why I didn't show that off. It's part of that as well. We've got a new big fucking door block as well. So we've got around one of these doors to go with... Yeah, can I squeeze that into this mess that I've built here? There we go, we'll stick it that way around. So, we've got another one of these doors. Like the hatch one that we got with the contact update. I really like it. It's got some proper, almost Fallout vault hatch type vibe to it, only much smaller, but I really like it. It's got lots of cool little details on it. I like the little pegs that stick out the door to create the seal. Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, I forgot to mention that before. So we've got all kinds of new cool round corridor pieces there. What else have we got? We've done all the lab pieces, we've done some of the tanks, we've done all the pipes. Oh yeah, we've got these exhaust caps. They're basically just like exhaust pipes. And they do exactly the same thing. Right, can I get a better view? There we go. Exhaust caps. And now I can't tell which one's which because I took build info off. Oh well. And yeah, they do all the same things as the exhaust pipes. Let's have a look. We've got smoke and electric. Yeah. What else we got? Green reactor smoke. So yeah, they do all the same thing as the existing exhaust pipes. They are much more compact, don't stick out quite as much. And again, we've got a large grid one, and we've got a lovely little small grid one. That even if you don't turn them on or use them, are still a nice little bit of detail to stick on things. They're very skinny, the small grid ones, so they don't stick out very much at all. They're nice and discreet, nice and subtle. So that should be, yeah, that's grouped in with the exhaust pipe now. So we've now got that little group of exhausts and exhaust caps, or exhaust pipes and exhaust caps. Yeah, they're pretty sweet. Have we got anything else? Is it going to make my game crash? Oh yeah, we've got more doors. We've got lab doors. Which should be... yeah, they are now tucked in the door group. So we've got all the ones we've had up until now. That's the old hatch door. We've now got the round version of. And then the narrow doors, the round corridor now sits in that group too. And then we've got these two lab doors. We've got an inverted variant for building inside a block, and a regular variant for building on the outside of a block. And they've been designed more or less, so it doesn't really matter which way up you put them, unless you're particularly fussed about that lightning bolt being the right way around. So it doesn't really matter if you put them upside down or whatever. I've found they actually, they're quite nice as like a little cover for other blocks. I'll put that round the wrong way, but yeah, so you can have them as like a little cover for things like access points or whatever, as well as using them for their intended purpose. Stick the regular one on there. So it's a bit. There we go. So we've got the dark face facing us. There we go. Yeah, I've been wanting a door like this for a while. That's nice and skinny and not as obtrusive as some of the others, because the vanilla doors, again, quite an old design now. And the offset ones, they're really, really big. They actually stick over their one block size, so trying to use them in compact places kind of gets a bit annoying when they stick out this far. So having one that is the size and shape of an armor plate is actually really, really nice. Yeah, I really like those doors. They are pretty sweet. So what else have we got? Fieldwork. Have we got anything else to play around with? I think that. Oh yeah, we have got one last thing. The lab vat, which, as far as I know, is basically just a fancy cryo chamber. Yep, there you go, cryo chamber sound. There's me floating in it. Just chilling and healing. In fact, if we take that off there, find our way through this mess. Now, has it got a good indicator of which way is up? The direction of the bubbles, I presume. If I jump in that, I am now upside down. Okay. Is there an indication of which way is up before you place it? MGW. If I put that way. Oh, there you go. There's a... Oh no, it's got that top and bottom. That's no use. I got that writing on the bottom. That is... Okay, right, so that's the bottom. That writing here, that's a good indicator of where the bottom is. Yeah, it's going to have to be. But yeah, new kind of cryo chamber. Again, I quite like the design of this. It looks a bit cooler than the ones we've already got. Especially when you just sit there floating in it. Quite cool. Yeah, we can look around in it. Nifty. What's that like compared to the old cryo chamber? Because I don't do a whole lot of multiplayer or online stuff, so I very rarely play with the cryo chambers. Yeah, so it's got a group now with the real old looking ones. They're a bit outdated, and I mean the design of them is still pretty cool, but you can't see through that windscreen the same, or that glass the same way you can on that one. But you can see out of it. And then that's the inset one. I presume that came with contact. I'm taking build info off now, so I can't see. Yeah, that's one that I also very rarely use. This one, really cool though. I'm going to have to try and find an excuse to put these into some builds. I don't think I've added any of these to that station yet. We'll have to do that eventually. What are we on? Hour and a half. And it's 9 o'clock. Right. Okay. Cool. Right, so that's more or less most of the new things. We've done all the doors, we've done the floors, we've done the tanks, we've done the desks. We've done the one that keeps making my game crash, so you're getting a bug report out the arse, my son. And then the rest, yeah, we've had a look at all of those now. So yeah, that's all the new toys that are coming with this, well, all the new blocks that come with this update. There's loads of new features, like all the cargo ship stuff that's out in space, but there's no time to be doing that kind of stuff right now. But my biggest new favourite thing is these colour changing lights. I took that damn rotor mod out, so it's gonna do stupid stuff, detach the feet. Oh well, doesn't matter, I'm not saving this world anyway. This is just a demo. But yeah, those new colour changing lights, they are pretty much one of my favourite features of this thing. I don't know which is which anymore. There we go. Bang. Turn all that off. Yeah, cool. Where are you? There you are. Oh yes, as well, because what did I do? With the walk controls on this, I also... was it on the forward controls? Probably. Yes, I also set steer overrides on this thing. So when it walks in whatever direction I've set up, I can actually get the wheels to now pitch themselves into a better position for getting grip on the floor. And now I can get this mech moving at like 8 meters a second. He's nice and quick now. And I can also get him to move his wheels in the opposite direction so he can go nice and quick in reverse. Whereas if all the wheels stayed oriented to the centre, it'd create a lot of drag with the way the suspension friction mechanics work, and he was kind of limited to about 4 meters a second. And trying to set that kind of programming up with timers and the old increase-decrease steer override controls is an absolute pain. But now that we have these lovely set variable options, like set steer override and set propulsion override, you can do all sorts of things real easy now. And that turns it on and off. That was the wrong button. There we go. We're back in the game. I think. There we go. Yeah, I need to have build vision back on. I can't tell what anything is. There we go. So that's the button for warp controls. And then flick that one, and then we can stick it into drive control mode. And again, I've been able to make a sort of crab mode controls with this. So I can, when I press the left and right thrusters, there's the vent controller that reads that signal and then pitches the wheels either left or right, so that I can do almost crab style driving to the side. So now I can strafe around my enemies with my wheels. Which is going to make combat with these spider mechs a little bit easier. I can now strafe left and right with them nicely. Then we've got handbrake control, and I can just switch back to warp mode. And it also means having those wheels oriented that way means I can actually increase the friction on the wheels and it still picks up a relatively decent speed. And it can also climb up inclines better now. Which is quite nice. Oh, hey, Space Guy Falcon. How you doing, man? Right, so that is pretty much most of the new toys from this DLC. Light up in the air, and I'll just turn on all the guns for fun. Why not? There we go. Everything is active. Turn that on and turn that on. There we go. Now, when they're all aiming at a target, they all turn red. They made some visual improvements to the damage effects. They look nicer than they usually are. Yeah, they might have upgraded those as well. Backing it up. Right. That's enough of that. Much gun, holy moly. Yeah, well, the Jigabachi is a military attack helicopter thing, so he needs to have lots of guns on him. Yeah, we'll just land him there for now. I think I've taken out one too many mods and he's playing a bit weird now. Right. let's go quickly see if my station is still orbiting. There it is. Yeah, that's still happily doing its thing. Flying around the planet. Modded or no? The only mods I've currently got running in this save file is my gyroscope mod that makes small grid gyros a bit stronger. I've actually taken out my small grid rotor mod because I don't need it anymore. Again, Keen have given us the option to make hinges and rotors go all the way up to a billion Newton meters, essentially 1,000 meganewton meters. So yeah, my small grid rotor mod is basically defunct now, and I actually couldn't be happier about it. And yeah, it's the same for the rotors and things like that. They can now go all the way up to a billion. Maybe check the microscope table in the station bug. Oh no. It was definitely a bug up here as well, because my stream crashed right at the beginning of the stream when I was showing off my medical station. And the second I walked over to the microscope desk, game crashed the desktop. I thought that was just an issue with the fresh update, and then we went planet side and had a look at it again, and it kept crashing repeatedly. It is 100% something to do with that lab desk, and it's not an environmental issue. It is absolutely just that desk. Because I've seen it happen both ways in this one stream. So yeah, we've got these airlocks, so when I press this button it turns everything blue, and when it pressurizes and the game is happy that this room is pressurized, it turns it green. And if I do it the other way and turn that off, it turns it blue, and when it depressurizes it turns it red. And that's literally just these two lights tied into an action that closes the doors. There's an event controller that looks at the doors, and oh no, it's set up a different way. It's tied into a sign and all sorts of nonsense. But yeah, you can have colour changing lights, do all sorts of things that interact with stuff, have them as visual indicators. Then we got more of those blocks down here. Right, that is pretty much it for this DLC, and the new features that I'm actually interested in and have the time to explore right now. New defense strategy: just throw the desk of game crash at the enemy. You could have. Oh, hey, Pandemic Playground, how are you doing? Yeah, you just had the same crash, did you? Yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance, because I wasn't having that issue the other day when I was playing with it pre-release, and now it seems to be a problem, which is a bit gutting. And just for good measure, we'll go and once again confirm that it is absolutely that fucking thing. Actually pay to lose. Yeah. Where's my medical bay? Right, I know this is going to crash my game, but I'm going to do it just for science. Because all the other bits in this room are perfectly fine. None of the other things I've built are making the game crash. Walking near all of them is fine. The second I step into here, it glitches out and crashes. So, yes. I am fairly certain that it is absolutely that lab desk that is doing that. Lame. Oh well. I'll boot the game up one last time quickly. And then I am probably gonna call it quits for the evening. I'd like to end on the game and not a black screen. And I would also, just quickly, before I leave, like to... Oh, I pressed the wrong button. No, cancel. I didn't want to actually load the game. Damn it. Yeah, quickly, before I get off, I just wanted to remind everyone and reinforce the idea that share inertia tensor is a world setting that should be set on by default, please. Having it switched off is pretty game breaking for a lot of people. Having it switched on by default probably won't make much of a difference to most. Yeah, there we go. Right. Off you go. You can carry on orbiting. You're fine. So yeah, I was actually going to quit the game. Or go back to the menu screen. That's what I wanted to do, and that is what I wanted to do. So yeah, before I get off for the evening, I just wanted to reinforce, for the mech builders, we now have these 3 world settings at the bottom, and for the love of Clang, before you load your game, press this button here. It will be off, in fact, they will all be off by default when you load up your old saves. If you want to have ridiculous rotor and hinge and piston strength, turn these ones on, and if you don't want your robots to fall to pieces, make sure you activate that. You try it again, this time it didn't crash, but you fell through the world. Oh, interesting pandemic playground. Yeah, there's something going on with that one, isn't there? I think that block might be a bit broken. But yeah. If you are a subgrid enthusiast like I am, or you build mechs, please check this box before you load your game. Because I didn't when I first booted this up, and I nearly broke a save game because of it. I nearly ruined a whole save game full of robots because this was off, and then I quit back, and then the game auto-saved, and then I turned it on, and I went back, and it auto-saved with share inertia tensor deactivated. So it did cause me a few issues. Yeah. That is pretty much me for this evening. Yes, Aja, luckily there are backups. I keep backups of everything. I back up my backups because I've lost a few games in the past to things like that. And silly game-breaking bugs. So, yeah. Back up your games and make sure you check that share inertia tensor button. I'm not sure why they've made it as they've separated it out as a world setting. I get the other two, I don't get share inertia tensor being a world setting. Yeah, it's a bit of a daft idea, but I have put in a feedback report as well to kindly ask them to have it switched on by default, because again, having it on by default isn't going to break the games of anyone that's not using it, but having it off by default is going to break the games of people that are using it. So, yeah, again, that can cause some problems that I'm not too happy about. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to call that quits for the evening, because I had to rush home from work to make sure I got back in time to do all this stuff, and other than that buggy lab desk, it's been pretty successful. So, cheers for watching, guys. Cheers for hanging out. Cheers for saying hello. Thank you to Asia and Pandemic Playground and Marcus and all the other cool people that like to drop into my streams. And cheers to everyone else and all of my regular subscribers and all of my regular viewers, my members. Cheers, guys. Everything you do makes it totally worth doing all this mad nonsense. So, thanks, guys. I'm off for the evening, and enjoy the new DLC, and hopefully you don't find any game-breaking bugs like I did. But yeah, cheers, guys. I will see you next time.